Hi, hello, how's it going? This is Ronaldo Hernandez, and today I'm going to talk about using non-keto carnivore as a tool. Now, when I mean my non-keto is I mean that in terms of like it's not keto macros or it's not a high-fat diet. Um, the way I do carnivore now, or the way I've been doing carnivore for a while now, is I go like pretty high protein. You know, like really high protein. I kind of go with the recommendations of what Cole Robinson, Sec Diet, does. I mean, I don't go to the extreme, but I use that same like concept that he was talking about. Using eating the excess amount of protein, and then for that excess amount of protein to be turned into glucose um, via gluconeogenesis. If you don't know what that means, it just means converting protein to sugar. You know. Anyways, reason why I do carnivore this way is because I tried keto carnivore. I tried doing it with high fat, and I mean I did see a lot of benefits. I saw like a lot of benefits from keto, like mental clarity, um, very laser focus on certain tasks, better digestion too. Not thinking about it. Um, Mental clarity, all of that keto goodness or whatever. But there was a flaw for it though, and that died for me. And I could never get it right. I made sure everything was perfect, and I made sure I was eating enough. But I had just had crazy insomnia on the keto diet, like crazy insomnia. Like I'm like it's to the point where I can't even like fall asleep, and if I do, it's like a good 3 or 4 hours at best, and it's like shitty sleep. I don't even think I dream in that when I'm on a keto diet. Maybe like the first 1 or 2 days, I'm able to kind of get some decent sleep. But I think that's because I'm so high, I still kind of have some like glucose in my body, so that's why my body's so kind of so able to metabolize that. But anyways, yeah, on keto diet, like keto macros, I just can't fucking sleep. I make sure my potassium and electrolytes were on point. I make sure I was eating enough. I made sure I wasn't eating too close to bed. Um, and I know it was a keto diet because I was consistently eating keto macros, and then one day I just got tired of it, man, because I wasn't sleeping. And bad enough I don't really sleep as it is, and that just made my sleep even worse. But anyways, so yeah, one night I was like, fuck it. I think I ate some honey or I ate some like a banana. Within like a half hour, I fucking knocked the fuck out. That kind of just I mean, keto might work for everybody. I mean, I suppose a lot of people say they're on keto and they it's like the best thing of their life, whatever. But for me, man, like I just can't sleep on keto, man. Like I tried it so many times, I revisited it, and I try to like change something, you know, like even manage my stress more on keto and keep it low, and I just can't sleep. So, um, so yeah, so um, I started, kind of looking into how, Cole Robinson was doing carnivore, and he was talking about the same shit with keto that he was having, shitty sleep. He was talking about bad pumping in the gym, bad performance. I kind of felt that too. I mean, performance was a little bit worse, but I don't know, with the high energy, it just, I don't know, I felt like I was able to kind of push through it. But anyways, he was talking about like how body runs on glucose. Like that's what our body's meant to be run on glucose. And then, I mean it's true. I mean keto. If you look at keto, like he talks about it as it's very catabolic. And it makes sense. Keto, you're breaking down fat. But and it kind of puts you in the fasting state, like forcefully by diet. When you fast, like there's a lot of health benefits to fasting, but it is catabolic because you're breaking stuff down. Your body has to break things down for it to keep you alive. So it makes sense that keto is catabolic because you're constantly breaking things down to, keep going. And you're supposed to be anabolic at some point. You can't be keto all the time, be catabolic all the time. And you just won't ever grow or whatever. So, there's that point about, how the keto diet, might not even work. Or, all the myths about keto diet. There's a lot of talk about it. It's so good for you. And I try to, I was eating keto in denial too. Like, I was trying to, try to like disprove all that, you know, bad talk about keto. I was kind of for it, but the more I kept going down that road, it just wasn't working out. So I'm like, fuck it. Um, I'm just gonna stop doing it. But another reason why I go back to carnivore a lot too, though, is because it's like the greatest elimination diet of all time. Like all you're eating is just meat. You know, I try not to incorporate eggs or dairy because sometimes I get like a histamine intolerance as a kind of reaction. Yeah, but I have been experimenting though, because lately I was eating eggs and I didn't really get a reaction. Same thing with dairy too. Actually, I never really got a reaction with dairy. Like I don't get, I kind of do get acne, but it's not like nothing crazy. But at the same time, it was the same time. It was around the same time I was eating eggs, so I wasn't too sure. But anyways, when I just eat strictly meat, um, it's my body obviously tolerates it very well. It's very low inflammatory. Um, what else? And very satiating too. I always feel like I'm satisfied with what I eat. But it is hard to gain weight on that diet. Um, I do like it though, cause I am leaner most of the time. Like I feel lean, I don't feel bloated. But um, I only stay on like pure carnivore for like a couple of days or a couple of weeks max. Cause one, I do feel like it's very important to incorporate carbs, for performance wise, but also for um another thing for like another topic on like kind of being adaptable. I feel like we should be. I mean, we are meant to be eating plant foods. Like, obviously, there's a lot of negative side effects from eating plant foods if you have like autoimmune issues and all that. But I mean, you should be resilient to that. Like, if you're able to tolerate those foods, it means you're tough. Like on a physiological level, like you're able to, you know, handle all types of stress, which is a good thing. Like, it's a good sign that your body's actually like healthy. Are you really gonna let like a piece of vegetable or like some fruit be the downfall of you? It doesn't make any sense. Like, you, carnivore's cool now. Like, I do like the diet. I think it's very efficient in what it's meant to do. But I mean, long term, I don't think we're meant to be eating for just fucking meat. We should be eating some type of plant food. You know, and if you could, and if you're able to eat all sorts of food, that's even better for that person, because obviously that means that they're resilient. They're tougher on a physiological level, on a deeper level. They're able to withstand more stress. So yeah, so anyways, I also wanted to talk about the kind of macros I'm on a non-keto carnivore. Kind of aim for like 60% protein, 40, and then I do like 40% fat. I try to do more protein because that's what like Cole Robinson recommends. I can see why, just because you need more, just to kind of convert more protein to sugar for glucose. For to There's a purpose for that. It's to replenish your glycogen stores, for workouts, so you can still get that pump and get that high intensity performance that you want, like in weight training. So, but I mean, to be honest though, it is hard to eat that much protein. Like, I'm able to eat a lot of food. Like, I eat like about like, I don't know, 3 or 4 pounds right now, and it takes me about like 2 or 3 hours to finish it. I still do an intermittent fasting protocol. It's not one meal a day, even though I eat it all at one sitting. I kind of do take some breaks in between, but I mean, I basically try to eat all my food like at once, but I don't do it within an hour. And I'm not a fast eater, but yeah, it takes me about like 2 or 3 hours to eat all that much food, and it's really not a lot of calories, man. Like I'm eating about like 2,500. Ever since I actually been on a diet, I've been like carnivore this week. I lost like I don't know 3 pounds. I mean, it's not a lot, but it's just I feel like it could go even lower if I'm not pushing to if I'm not pushing myself to eat. So um that's all I have to say for now. But anyways, just to recap, I do use carnivore, non-keto carnivore as a tool to kind of kind of like a baseline for me. I use it as a way to kind of take my body and kind of put it in a lower stress level. Because reason why I constantly go back to carnivore is because I get a lot of flare-ups sometimes, where my seborrheic dermatitis, my dandruff acts up, and that's something I can't figure out why. Like at first I eat some carbs and I'm tolerating it and good. Next thing you know, out of nowhere, it just starts like kind of coming out. So I'm just like, damn, like I don't know. It's probably because I'm not reintroducing probiotics or something. So maybe that's the reason why. I am experimenting, and I'm also going to experiment on including eating a certain amount of carbohydrates, because it might be I'm overeating carbohydrates. I try to use it as a way to kind of gain weight. That's what a lot of athletes do. They use carbs as a source of calories, because it's so easy to eat, and as a source of uh, fuel for performance. But yeah, I'm going to experiment. I'm trying to experiment with just 100 grams of carbohydrates and trying to see which one works best. I might do low glycemic foods, or I might do simple like carbohydrates, like bananas or potatoes or something, and I'll see which one works best. But I'm only doing that specifically. So for the low glycemic, I'm doing that because it might be safer on my body, you know, safer for like the fungus overgrowth that I have, so it won't like flare it up. And but I also want to try the simple carbohydrates because I kind of want to test out the insulin spikes for my muscle growth, because I am trying to build some muscle, and I'm just playing around with that, trying to see where it goes. But yeah. Anyways, um, like I said, non-keto carnivore. I try to go. I aim for like at least 60 to 70% protein and then 30 to 40% fat. At times I do 50% protein, 50% fat, but I do try to eat more protein just because my body can still run on glucose, and I'm gonna just cut it off there. Just I feel like it's already too long. But yeah. Anyways, thank you for tuning in, and this is Fast Life.